Hello everyone, today I'll be explaining about a Python mini project which will be used for various conversion operations such as temperature converter, length converter, area converter and weight converter. So I've built this GUI application using Tkinter, and in the first two lines of the code I've basically imported Tkinter into our project, and then I've imported PIL, which is Python imaging library, to the project. Though it has a lot of uses, but in this project I've basically used it to display a background image over the GUI application. And then root is equals to tk basically means that we are initializing tkinter, and any application which is built using tkinter will contain this line of code. And then we are naming the application as seamless converter and setting up the geometry. And then we are basically putting a background image over the GUI application, and moving towards the weight converter. So basically we have written a function named weight converter, and I've created two dictionaries, which is factors and IDs. Factors basically contain by what factor do we have to multiply or divide in order to convert from one unit to another. So starting up the weight converter, clicking on the weight converter, this is the basically the window of it. So inside the weight converter function, we have defined another function called convert, which we are passing the parameters which are amount, from unit and to unit. So basically these are the units, any unit which we want to convert from and to will be passed over here, and the amount which will be writing over here will be passed here. So that is all about the convert function. And then we are creating another function which is callback. So callback basically handles all the errors which will be occurring when a user just clicks on the button without writing any amount or without selecting any unit. So this is one type of error which can occur, and that's why we have written invalid input for that. Then again, if the user just writes the amount without selecting the unit for it, then another type of error will be occurring, which you have mentioned here. And then if all these errors does not occur, then the code, it will directly move to the else condition, and then it will call the convert function, because this is a callback function which we have created. So basically we'll be getting the input and output unit over here, like from and to. What will be passing, as I told you, that in the convert function we'll be passing the from and to. So basically we have created a drop down menu for both of the menus, so that we can select a particular unit for that. So that is it for the callback function. And then this is basically the back end code. Moving forward to the front end code. uh, Firstly, we'll initialize the window and then initialize the frame for it. We have to mention a title for it, and that is what we have done. Weight converter. Then we are basically going to add an input field. As we can see that this is the input field and this is the output field. So we have set the input field, and then we are also going to create a drop down menu. So this is a drop down menu, and then we'll be creating the output field, and the drop down menu for that as well. So yeah, that was the input field, output field, then the drop down menu as well. And then we have to also create a button, which we have done in this line of code. And then as we know that this is the parent window, and from the parent window we are creating another window, which is the child window. So that is why we have written that code for that. So this is all about the weight converter. So moving forward to the area converter, basically the code for all the conversions are basically same. Just the backend code will be different, as the formulas are different, of course. So moving forward to the area converter. So first let's test the weight converter first. So I'm writing 1100 from kilo to gram. Let's convert. So basically it gives the correct output. So yeah. Moving towards the area converter. So again, we have made a function of the area converter and initialize the root to top level, as we are creating a child window to the parent window. And then we are basically creating the dictionary, as we said that to what factor do we convert, from what to what factor we have to multiply or divide to convert from one unit to another. That is what we have mentioned over here. And then we have, again, as we have seen previously, we have to create a convert function which will convert from a particular unit to a particular another unit, and we have to pass the amount which you want to convert. And then basically we are just creating two input fields over here and two drop down menus so as to select from which unit we are converting. So let's say I'm typing 100. We'll select the units of it, and yeah, we can see that the area converter is working. So moving towards the length converter. So as we have done in the weight converter, we have to create a dictionary of factors and IDs, and that is it. So let us check out the length converter. Again, we will be creating the convert function, which will basically multiply or divide accordingly to the units, and according to the according to the dictionary which we have created over here. Again, we'll be creating a callback function which will handle all the errors as we have seen before. And basically, if there are no errors, then the code will move to the else part, and basically call the convert function, which will convert the particular particular unit to another particular unit. And then we'll be initializing the window and initializing the frame. And as we know that as we have again before as we have seen before, that we have to create one input field and one output field as well, and the calculate button and drop down menu. So that is what we have done over here in this code. So, and again, as we know that this is a child window to the parent window, that is why we have to write this code for that. So let's just test it out. So yeah, that is working. So it is working well. Moving towards the temperature converter. So we have created a function called temperature converter, and here we can convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit or Fahrenheit to Celsius. Both ways we can convert. So here we have created two buttons, which is the convert button and the reset button. So if you want to convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit and Fahrenheit to Celsius, this if else condition will be used. Like this is the formula to convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit. We'll get the Celsius temperature multiplied by 9 by 5 plus 32. So this will, from here we can convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit, and here we can convert from Fahrenheit to Celsius accordingly to that. And then we have created a reset button. Okay, let's say we are inputting some values over here, and we are done with the conversion. Sorry, yeah. Let me just reset it first, and I'm writing some value over here, and the conversion takes place. So after if you want to perform some another conversion, so we can basically click on the reset button, and this will reset the values to 0, and we can do the next conversion. So that is it for the reset button, which will be setting zeros to the Celsius and Fahrenheit, so as we can move forward to the another conversion. And this is basically that was basically the backend code. And now this is how we will be designing the front end. So this we are creating a Celsius label, then the Fahrenheit label, and then we are creating input fields for Fahrenheit and Celsius entry. Then we are creating a convert button and a reset button. So this was for temperature converter. So let's convert from Fahrenheit to Celsius. So yeah, that it's working. Just reset the session and cancel it. So that was basically for temperature converter. So in order to design the buttons over here, we are doing it from this code over here, and basically just setting the font. We are basically setting the font, the size of it, and other parameters such as do you want it as normal, italics, or bold. And in order to do the hover effect, we are basically setting it from here. And yeah, that is it. And basically setting it we are basically placing those buttons in the form of x and y axis. So that is what we have done here, that we have set the x and y axis so as to place them, and this can be done by trial and error method, or any other method which we want. Like normally we can do it like that. And basically in order to make this application run in a loop and not for stop, we have to write root is equals to main loop, and this will keep the GUI application running until and unless we have click on the quit button, which will just destroy the session. And that was it. Thank you.